Tom, heavy winds and rains hit Garrettson hard early Monday morning, and the town's 1,200 people are working hard to clean up. Yesterday was the first day South Dakotans could pick up their stash of fireworks for the patriotic holiday. Rachel, earlier today, the 2015 Summit League basketball tournament tipped off here right behind me. And while it may be in its 7th year here in Sioux Falls, this is actually the very first year it's being held here at the Denny Sanford Premier Center. Elected officials are getting the opportunity to see what it's like for a firefighter in Mitchell. Up next, I'll tell you what kind of training they had to go through. Megan, it's not snowing yet in Sioux Falls, but within the next couple hours, we should see some flurries. Earlier today, I was in Brookings, where residents were experiencing the first snowfall of the season. City council members are looking to change rules that would bring ride-hailing services like Uber to Sioux Falls. The mayor says the distribution of mail and running water throughout parts of the town are starting to bring back a sense of normalcy. But not all residents in Delmont agree. While the city may be spending close to $100,000 for the Sioux Falls Has Jobs project, Smith says it's money well spent. So far, the residents of Brookings are giving the first snowfall of the year mixed reviews. But there is one thing that they do all agree on. They're glad that it waited until November. The election results aren't in yet, but election workers are working tirelessly to get those ballots counted. Now this year, Minnehaha County is introducing a new voting tool which counts up to 300 ballots a minute. South Dakota voters and election candidates are anxiously awaiting the 9 o'clock hour, and that's when the election results will be released. Reporting from the Minnehaha County Administration Building, I'm London Swan. Now back to you in the studio. The winds that caused widespread damage here in Garrettson Monday morning reached 100 miles per hour. Today, crews and residents are busy cleaning up that damage from the wild windstorm.
Exhausting. It has been. There's a lot of work to, cleaning all this debris up and everything.
The severe weather damaged several homes and uprooted countless trees, many of which lie scattered throughout Garrettson homeowner Cindy Jorgensen's front lawn.
And the first thing to do is kind of panic, not knowing what is going on.
But Jorgensen says after a moment of panic, calm began to rush in when several helpers showed up at her front door.
These people don't live here in Garrettson, they live outside of Garrettson, but they're willing to come in and take their time and their energy to help out. So I'm really, really thankful.
It's been a big cleanup, but she's surprised at how quickly it's getting done. Jorgensen says that might have to do with outside businesses and organizations coming in and helping. You want to help me get this one? Like Pizza Ranch in Brandon.
We came out here today to Garrettson to help out our fellow community. They help us out at the restaurant by visiting us, and we want to return the favor by helping them.
Amy Van Wagner and several other Pizza Ranch employees are lending a helping hand to the fragile community.
They need all the help they can get. There's a lot of tree limbs down, fences down, and we just felt like it was something Pizza Ranch needed to do, to come out, really help them out and get them back on their feet.
That's big when you get businesses from other communities that are willing to step in and help. That means a lot to the other communities.
Garrettson Fire Chief J.R. Hofer says every little bit helps, and he says it's the strength in numbers that's helping the city of Garrettson return back to normal. XL Energy got most everyone in Garrettson back on the grid last night with electricity. Hofer says that's helped make the recovery process a lot smoother for people. Reporting live from Garrettson, London Swan, KDLT News. Just 30 miles east of Brookings lies Lake Benton, a small Minnesota town with just 683 people. And now 2 of those people have disappeared.
On Sunday, we had a missing persons report for 2 individuals.
Family members of 29-year-old Brianna Tuff says she and her neighbor 54-year-old Bradley Lund set off on a weekend ice fishing trip nearby, but never returned home.
Right now, our concentration for the search is in the area behind me in the lake.
Crews have been working around the clock searching for Tuff and Lund.
Throughout the investigation, led us to believe that the vehicle had gone through the ice.
Lincoln County Sheriff Chad Meester says a break in the case came Tuesday morning when a vehicle was found at the bottom of Lake Benton near Norwegian Creek Campground.
We have 2 DNR boats that are using video cameras underwater to better assess the situation and to get a better view of what's just below the surface there.
After hours of searching with underwater cameras with no new developments, Meester says a change in the search technique was necessary.
Our concentration is around the vehicle right now.
Crews are continuing to use new techniques like snagging the bottom of the lake in hopes of finding new clues.
We're hoping to keep it, hopefully missing persons yet, and we still hope.
While crews continue to comb through Lake Benton, Meester says it's important that others think twice before stepping onto the ice.
Even though the temperatures are really low right now, just the ice and the lakes are unsafe, and some areas, like I said, have good ice, others do not. So just be careful, safety.
It is right here.
Fred and Sylvia Hawker could be called water tower enthusiasts.
Then this would be another one, like with the blue and...
We've run out of colors.
The simple structure first caught their eye back in 2002. The Hawkers were about to take a 9-hour road trip from Hampton, Iowa to Carson.
When we had our 50th wedding anniversary, we took it and our kids put these.
And decided to take the back roads to see towns they'd never seen.
We drove to the first town and there was the water tower with the name on it, and so we thought that's what it's going to be.
What they didn't know at the time was that trip would turn into 10 years of water tower searching.
And we started taking other smaller trips around, and then we named them Water Tower Tours.
After 10 years, every town in Iowa and one little city in Missouri by accident, these water tower seekers are finally getting a chance to see how they're made.
This one is actually for Jamestown, North Dakota, which is a 600,000 gallon tank.
The couple is touring the McGuire Iron Facility in Sioux Falls, which builds water towers from the ground up.
We just have looked at them for their beauty and unusual.
Sylvia says traveling from town to town began to feel like putting a puzzle together. And it's a journey the couple says they couldn't have done alone.
And like I like to say, we've gone to all these towns and we're still married somehow or another.
Quite often you go on a trip and you go for the destination, and we like to say that our whole trip is the destination.
This is where the water begins.
London Swan, KDLT News, Sioux Falls.
Knuckles.
Yeah, it's like if you can envision your hand.
Is there supposed to be a hole here or something?
It's a day to celebrate the extraordinary service, honor America, and selfless sacrifice of our nation's veterans.
We are proud of our veterans.
People of all ages throughout the Sioux Empire are celebrating Veterans Day today.
Happy Veterans Day!
We are bringing the kids out here to show respect for the veterans and to actually make them aware of this Veterans Memorial Park.
Elementary school kids at MB's after-school program placed American flags at Veterans Memorial Park to show their respect.
They think it's pretty cool getting out here. A lot of them are looking for relatives that they might know that have served or have been veterans.
I'm going to try to find my great-grandpa or my grandpa.
It's a small gesture. Put them in the ground. But Franken hopes it's one that will create discussion and a memory for each child involved.
I'm hoping that they just have a better understanding of what our veterans did for us and our country.
They protected us and they gave their lives for us.
And he hopes that today's event will allow each child to return to the Veterans Memorial Park and pay their respects.
Where are they at?
London Swan, KDLT News, Sioux Falls. Who really knows what happens behind closed doors?
It really can be deceiving and really could be anywhere that somebody's cooking or making meth.
Police say people were cooking meth in this house in January of this year, and there were 19 other incidents in South Dakota in 2014. Officer Sam Clemens says meth use has always been an issue in Sioux Falls. The only thing that's changed is how the drug is made.
In the past, what we saw was big meth labs, and people were producing a big quantity of that. And doing so, they're using a lot of different chemicals.
Sioux Falls police say the new trend is meth in smaller quantities. Meth makers are using pop bottles. But what happens after a meth lab is discovered? That's up to the property owner.
There's no laws that say that we have to condemn a place or board a place up. It's really just that recommendation and trying to make that house as safe as you can after somebody has been making meth.
We drove 167 miles to Fort Thompson to speak with an expert on cleaning meth houses.
I think it's tedious work to go into a unit or any home to clean for meth.
Ronette Kirky has been cleaning up meth houses for 2 years. She works with contracting companies to clean up 12 to 15 units at Crow Creek Housing.
Just basically started out from a report, some syringes and things like that were found in the unit, and there's speculation from might be some meth use.
It may look like an ordinary home, but step inside and it's a different story.
You've seen the bottles, you'll see the light bulbs, syringes. The smell was different.
Kirky says the residue from cooking or smoking meth is basically invisible in a home. That's why cleaning companies like Santa Clean, based in Marion, South Dakota, are called into action.
It was very tedious, and they had to wear hazmat suits too.
Crews used trash bags, paper towels, and chemicals to clean up meth houses.
Basically, a lot of labor.
Kirky says it can cost as much as $24,000 to clean up a meth lab. In a worst-case scenario, the home could be a total loss.
You had to have a solid waste truck there to take care of all the debris and the garbage, or whatever was taken out was being thrown away. You couldn't keep a lot of this stuff.
Everything that belonged to the family is now ruined, except for the few photographs that will serve as a reminder of life before meth